Hey, how you doing? This is Adam Post, publisher of more than 1,000 comic books. Today we're talking about the disastrous test screening that Disney has for their new Indiana Jones 5 film. This is very serious. This is not a big deal, like, oh, well, maybe they'll do something different at another test screening. No, they've had several test screenings. They have 6 different endings, and the best of them still does terrible. This is basically go woke, go broke. With a company like Disney, they have an enormous scale of business. They have tremendous advantages in terms of revenue that's going to keep coming in no matter what they do. They have a huge library of films. They have cable channels, network TV. They have licensing revenue. They have tremendous sources of revenue coming at them from all sorts of angles. They also have the trust of the stock market. They have the trust of fans, and they have the trust of the entire entertainment industry. They're damaging that trust, and they're using up that credibility. It's so important to look at customer satisfaction, not just profit, not just revenues, not just, well, do you have a brand? Do you control a brand that everyone knows? Where are you at? What have you done for me lately is incredibly important in the life and the success of a business. Just because there are people that love Marvel and love the Marvel characters and have grown up with them, it doesn't necessarily mean that you've got a healthy relationship with those customers. There are restaurants that lose their reputation because they change the chef. There are all sorts of businesses where customer service no longer becomes a priority, and then those businesses start to suffer, and then all of a sudden there's a massive collapse. And I think it's so interesting to look at Disney because, for years, those of us in the know, the people that have loved Star Wars, the people that have loved the Marvel characters, the people that, at certain times in their life, they were like, hey, I really connected with that Daredevil character. That's me. Frank Miller's Daredevil from the 1980s. Really loved it. Secret Wars, really loved it. And these things are things that we internalize, and it makes you want to give people the benefit of the doubt that own the brands. And you will up to a certain point. But when they make everything woke, when they change it from what you know it to be because they've got this other agenda and they're not just updating it for norm changes in cultural norms, they're not fooling anybody because we're the actual people that care about this content. When they make those changes, they really damage the brands. And from the trends that I've been seeing, the thing that really seems to make a fundamental difference is when they go and attack the fans, as they did with Lord of the Rings, as they did with She-Hulk most recently, and as it looks like Disney's planning to do potentially with Wonder Man that's coming up. That's a whole background story that I did a video about that. But let's get into this article from Bounding Into Comics, talking about the rumor of Indiana Jones test screenings and how badly they're doing and what that means for Indiana Jones and what that means for Disney and their brand. Their stock is in trouble right now. Disney's stock is actually in trouble. People are calling for Bob Chapek to be fired, and it's not just like comic book fans. It's not that we're not important. We're certainly very important, but we're not necessarily as influential as somebody from CNBC, Jim Cramer, calling for Bob Chapek to be fired. And I have to agree with him based over the recent financial results. So let's get into this article. Before we do, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up when you like it. And again, I really appreciate you guys. Thanks sincerely for supporting the channel. So that's the rumor. Indiana Jones 5 test screenings are abysmal. Disney is in a panic. A new rumor claims from Doomcock, the great YouTuber, that Indiana Jones 5 test screenings are absolutely terrible and that Disney is in a panic over their poor ratings. They literally have 6 different endings. Not one of them gets a positive review. They've got one that seems to get a 35% positive audience score. How terrible is that? It's bad. It's serious. Doomcock shares a little bit later that they've been told this, that Phoebe Waller-Bridge puts on Indy's hat, takes Indy's whip, and in a brave and stunning display of girl power, she becomes the best Indiana Jones ever at the end of all 6 versions of the movie. Every time. So now she's the woman that's taking over. They may need to get rid of Kathleen Kennedy at Lucasfilm. They may need to find a way to get her to go home and stay there because there's so much destruction of the Star Wars brand. And now they're going to destroy Indiana Jones, no matter what they do. And they even had access to Harrison Ford and they destroyed it. The YouTuber also asserts that Disney is in a panic over the poor test screening, saying that Disney is absolutely freaking out about this. They know this movie is going to bomb big time, which is why they've delayed it as long as they have, despite its being finished. Doomcock added, and according to rumors from his Hollywood spies, there's talk that Chapek may decide not to release it and take a tax write-off for it, or dump it onto Disney Plus, and hope that enough train wreck rubberneckers will sign up for the Disney Plus service just to take a look out of morbid curiosity. I think they're going to find that they're not going to get a lot of signups for this movie, whether it's good or bad or whatever. But I don't see Chapek taking the write-off, because it's one thing for Warner Brothers Discovery to admit, hey, listen, we have a change in strategy. As a result, we're canceling some of our content. They do it in such a matter-of-fact way, in such an upfront way, that the Zaslav team, they don't really get punished for that. It may affect the stock a little bit that they now have to take this extra loss, but they don't lose confidence. The market doesn't lose confidence in Warner Brothers Discovery over them taking expenses and charges for reorganizing the company and their content. Disney's not supposed to be doing that. Disney's supposed to be expert at what to do with all their intellectual properties. They have had no change in management in the last couple of years, so there's no excuse to say, oh, well, the movie just came out bad. Sorry, guys, we're just going to take a loss. Can't really do that. I don't see them doing that. But it does start to explain, like, the mismanagement is so bad, it's not just them damaging the brands. There's some serious problems over at Disney, and they're not admitting they have a problem, and they're not trying to clean it up yet. So what you're going to wind up, I think you're going to wind up seeing is, at some point, a $10 or maybe even $20 billion one-time charge to clean out the mess of all the garbage that Disney's been doing, to say, hey, look, this doesn't have the value that we've been claiming it had. That happens either right before or right after Bob Chapek winds up getting himself fired. But it's coming, which is going to also change their content from not being so woke when that eventually happens. If they have to take a major film, a Star Wars film, a Marvel film, an Indiana Jones film that they've produced, and then they look at it and they see that the audience has hated it, that's not something that's happened to Disney before, not in my knowledge. When that happens, there's going to be changes. There's going to be significant changes. This latest rumor comes on the back of a rumor from June 2021 where Overlord DVD indicated that Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character would replace Indiana Jones. In that imagine. In that video, he explained 2 endings are supposedly being considered in this script. I guess they've been written and they're going to shoot both of them. Both endings are allegedly have old Indiana Jones dying at the end of the movie. That's what you always want to see, right? But in one of the end of the rumored endings, young Indiana Jones dies alongside old Indiana Jones, and Phoebe Waller-Bridge swoops in like a vulture, picks up the hat, and takes his place moving forward. Can you imagine? I don't think audiences want to see that. That rumor appeared to be confirmed by the Daily Mail when their show business editor Kate Hind reported in September 2021 Phoebe Waller-Bridge is being tipped to replace the veteran actor as a female version of the fictional professor of archaeology in the adventure movie franchise. One anonymous source told Hind about the rumor. It would be a huge statement and a great role for Phoebe. Yeah, good luck, Phoebe. Let me know if you think that's a good role for Phoebe. I'd love to see what your thoughts are in the comments below. Another source stated the gossip on the set is that this character will slot into the leading role. Lucasfilm announced Phoebe Waller-Bridge's addition to the film in a press release back in April 2021. It read, Phoebe Waller-Bridge will star alongside Harrison Ford, who's returning to the role of the legendary hero archaeologist for the 5th installment of the iconic franchise. The film's director, James Mangold, commented on Waller-Bridge's addition to the film. I'm thrilled to be starring a new adventure, collaborating with a dream team of all-time great filmmakers. Okay, that's positive. He added, Stephen, Harrison, Kathy, Frank, and John are all artistic heroes of mine. When you add Phoebe, a dazzling actor, brilliant creative voice, and the chemistry she will undoubtedly bring to our set, I can't help but feel lucky as Indiana Jones himself. Well, I don't know if you feel lucky. I don't think they feel that lucky anymore. That you can see why they're panicking. They just went ahead and did this. They didn't obviously talk to any fans. They didn't talk to people who could easily tell them this is not going to work. This could be, this could be a big bomb for them if they try to release it. But even if they don't try and release it, basically, The best thing I think is going to happen, let me know what you think is going to happen. I'm going to suggest that because Bob Chapek is going to ride this thing down in flames or until he's pulled out of his office with his crazy management style, I think they put this on Disney Plus, make it some kind of a, very small promotion. Hope that not a lot of people see it, just try to get away with it as much as they can. But if they do that, they probably can avoid the tax write-off. And again, accounting means a lot to this kind of stuff. So even if they spent $200 million making it, they'll claim that, well, it's going to be on the streaming service for the next 20 years, so we don't need to take much of a write-off on this, and they can hide the losses. Incredible. All right, let me know what you think of all this in the comments below. Please be sure to subscribe to the channel, click the bell for notifications, give me a thumbs up when you like it, and I will see you again soon with another video, and if I don't see you, I will miss you.